The reason that I was trying to show you guys the different methods is you're gonna get to pick how you wanna solve. So like by the time we get to the test, I would prefer just to put a bunch of quadratic equations on there and just tell you to solve and let you pick how you wanna do it. And if factoring is what you like, go for it. If square roots is what you like, do it. If you just like quadratic formula, go for it. My guess is these three methods together will take up a decent amount of time. Like I know on the calendar, I have it going until May. And so there's a good chance we're not even gonna have enough time for this one. So it'll probably be less relevant to you. Okay, we're gonna skip the top because I know you guys are good at factoring and we did these on the test yesterday. And it's just trying to make a point that you can solve them by factoring, but we don't have to. In fact, quite a few people were actually already using this method to solve the questions on the test yesterday. Because I think I wrote solve by factoring in the directions, but I didn't make you use factoring. I was okay with you solving it however, as long as you showed your work. And so some people knew how to do this one already. Oh, Max is gone. Drew, choose somebody for me. You don't have to go. You can be Max's alternate. 7?
Yeah.
Gabby. Do you already just know the answer to this one? Without doing any method?
No.
No. Oh, okay. I bet you do. You're just not really trying to think about it so much. Then the question I'm going to ask is, if I'm given a question like this, I think everybody here is totally good with knowing that we would subtract 5 from both sides. Why did I do -5?
To make that 0.
Okay, so the -5, the reason we chose -5 is because it was the opposite of +5, and they cancel each other out. I mean, what you're saying was perfectly correct, it turns to 0. Okay, so we chose -5 because it's the opposite. And at the end of the problem, it just says x equals. Okay, Gabby, do you want to choose somebody else? Or do you want to keep going?
I'll just pick a number.
Sure.
27.
Whoa. Brindley? Okay. The left-hand side says x squared. So if we want to get the x all by itself, what's the one thing we have to cancel off? The squared, yep. And I think we've talked about this at points during the year, but squared, its opposite is square root. And so, I know you guys have done square roots before, but probably not a ton. What we're going to do is we're going to cancel off that little squared symbol by taking the square root of both sides. I'm assuming most of you would probably want to do a lot of this on the calculator. Is that correct? Do you guys know what the square root of 64 is? If you know what the answer is, you don't need to use a calculator. But otherwise, do know you're welcome to use a calculator. Some of the questions will need one anyway. Brindley, do you know the answer, or do you want somebody else to answer it, whatever? Sure, who's that? Brooklyn, okay. Do you know what the square root of 64 is? It is. Perfect. So square root means what number times itself is that? So 8 times 8 is 64. If you're really good at doing like knowing all the multiplication tables in your head, square roots are probably fine without a calculator. But I'm just going to directly tell you that we're going to have plenty of questions that need the calculator. So don't feel too bad. All right. Trying to think how to phrase this next question. Does anybody know why there's another answer? 8 isn't the only answer. 8 is correct. negative 8. Because if I do negative 8 times negative 8, it's also positive 64. That's good. So what we're going to do is when we take the square root to cancel off a squared symbol, we're going to write plus or minus 8. And I don't know if you've seen that symbol before. Have you guys run into that symbol before at all?
Yeah.
Okay. The plus and minus means that it's two separate answers. Positive 8 or negative 8. So that's why they call it plus or minus. And then we're done. I mean, that's, so, like, if you know what the square root of 64 is, or if you have a calculator handy, that's much quicker than factoring. Because we could have made it equal to 0 and then factored. And that was what was on the test. But I definitely saw some people on the test just do it this way. That's fine, I'm okay with that. Okay, before we get terribly far, this next part is just essentially remembering / knowing how to use the calculator or your brain. Roku, did you call it anybody? Okay, who's going? 7?
28.
Oh, I was gonna say, Danny gets to go again? 28, what are you, 27? 28, Austin? How about 3 squared? Say what?
What did you say?
3 squared. The next question.
9.
9, perfect. Okay, good. You wanna keep going? You wanna keep going, or you want somebody else to go?
I'll keep on.
Excellent, next one.
0.
Good. I'll just let you decide whenever you wanna stop.
The next one's negative 9.
It is. How come?
Huh?
How come?
I think you said negative.
So I'll just directly say it's not correct. And it's the reason we're trying to do these questions together. So my guess is you just did 3 squared and then made it negative? Okay. So negative 3, because it's in parentheses, means negative 3 times negative 3. Oh, here you go. So it's gonna end up being positive 9. I know earlier in the year, we did quite a bit of work on the calculator to make sure everybody knew how to type these in. This is the whole reason we have to put a negative number in parentheses on the calculator. So when you do this one, it should come out to be positive 9. You wanna keep going? Do you wanna pick a number?
5.
Charlie? Do the last 3 for me if you can.
4, 4,
Not negative 4? Okay. That one should be positive 4 because the negative is inside the parentheses. And in fact, now that I'm looking at these, I realize the one that we forgot to do together. Charlie, you can either answer this or call somebody else to answer this.
25.
It is not 25. So this is different than like E. E, when the negative symbol is in the parentheses, you're squaring whatever's in the parentheses. So that would mean negative 2 times negative 2. You'd write the parentheses twice. This one, the squared is actually only on the 5. The negative symbol is out front. So, I don't think PEMDAS is written above this, right? Okay, I know SADMEP is here. Don't worry about it, we're not gonna talk about SADMEP. I mean, you guys know what SADMEP is. PEMDAS in reverse. It basically is to do the opposite. But your exponent is before multiplying in PEMDAS. So this would be negative 25. And it's gonna be important for when you use the calculator, basically. Okay, those questions have nothing to do directly with, like, us solving problems. They're just basically make sure you know about negatives.
24.
they can't answer it. Wait, we should call Nolly and make her answer it on the phone, that would be fun. But go ahead, we'll call somebody.
23.
Wow. Priya? How would I get x all by itself? How do I cancel out the squared?
Remove the
Square root, both sides. So, and it's okay if you guys don't know the correct names, terms, as long as you know what you're doing. The square root symbol will cancel off the squared symbol. And then the answer would be?
2.
That's one answer.
2.
Perfect. The hardest thing for you to remember to do is to write plus or minus with the answers. It's super easy to forget. When we do the square root of a squared, it's plus or minus 2. If you forget that on a test or something, I'm not gonna take a lot off. It'll be a little bit wrong, but like, it's easy to forget plus minus. Okay,
19.
nobody. You'll go? 17. Let's go to a little bit harder one. C.
C.
Yes.
Square both sides.
Square root both sides. It would not. If you have a calculator, type in square root of -4. Do you guys want me to open up Desmos to show you how to do square roots? Do you know how to do it on there? You've done them before enough? I mean, it's basically the symbol that looks like that. Yeah, your calculator should say, no, should say error.
Yeah.
Okay, domain error works, syntax error, I mean, it depends on the calculator. Okay, does anybody know why the calculator like yells at you when you try to do that? Oh, I didn't say you were wrong, I was just, yeah. Any thoughts as to why the calculator doesn't like that?
Are you trying to do exponents into a negative number, or rather you're trying to square number
Yep.
into a negative?
Yeah, no, you're correct. The square root symbol means what number times itself. And if any number, when you multiply it by itself, has to come out positive. Like -4 times -4 is positive 16. So if you're doing the square root on a negative number, there's no solutions. Now, the worst part, when you guys get to algebra 2, there actually is solutions. We call them imaginary.
Oh, imaginary.
Yeah, they're stupid. I shouldn't say that on recording, but they are actually stupid. They call them imaginary numbers. The weirdest part is they actually have a use in real life. Not like for most people. But electrical engineering, the way electricity works, like the flow of electricity and all that kind of stuff, it actually works with imaginary numbers, which is bonkers. Because when I was in college, they showed us how, because everybody pretty much has the same opinion, like, you wonder why on earth you're learning about imaginary numbers that you can't actually see or do anything with. And then they show you one example with nothing. So they actually have a use, which is weird. So you'll learn about them in Algebra 2. But for now, we just say, no solutions. So if your calculator yells at you and says error, that is generally what it is going to be from. Okay, good. Should we do F together? Does that look a little bit harder? I don't know. Drew, we gotta wake you up. You look like you're falling back to sleep. You're listening to music and you're putting yourself to sleep. That's why we don't listen to music. Not true. We'll go with it. Even better, should we make you come up here and write to wake up? No, you're awake. Okay. What do we do in F?
-1. Wait, the X is 4.
You're just trying to steal the thunder of the answer. 4. Okay, you were both right. I'm in there. Okay, so -1 was perfect. You're trying to make the x squared by itself. Were you just trying to figure out the answer by like knowing what number would give you 17?
Yeah.
Okay, on its own, that is good too. The deal about this method is we're just gonna cancel off things along the way. So we canceled off the +1, now we're gonna cancel off that squared symbol. And then, Austin, you were half right. What do I write for the answer, do you remember? Like the other ones? Plus or minus?
Plus.
Because -4 would actually work there too. It doesn't, yeah, you were right. It does, -4 doesn't feel like it should be a correct answer, but it is. Okay, let's go to slightly harder. No, not those. Where's the ones with parentheses? No, let's not go to parentheses first. Let's do this one. I wanna work our way up. Basically, the idea is gonna be the same though. All we're gonna be doing is doing the opposites to get x all by itself. No, I already forgot who, I was calling on Drew. That's right. Who did I take away their chance to choose somebody else? I don't remember at this point. Who's looking most tired? Sam! We gotta wake you up too. Are you ready? What would you do first here? I mean, there's lots of correct answers, so it doesn't matter. I was just saying, what would you do first? So our goal is to cancel things off by doing the opposite. Is there any which one of these you would want to cancel off? You want to cancel off the 2 first? We can. It's not wrong, but I bet most people would cancel off the -60 first. If you want me to do the divided by 2 first, I will. So if we cancel off the 2, we have to do it by dividing by 2. And if we do that, make sure you divide everything by 2. Yeah. The reason not everybody will choose that first is because, like, if one of these was an odd number, then it makes the problem have, like, bad information, so this would say x squared minus 30 equals 2. Okay? Choose somebody else who looks tired or is on their phone or Chromebook. SK, all right, sounds good. Where do I go from here?
Would you add 30?
I would, yep, that's perfect, add 30, cancel out the minus 30. SK, same directions, pick people that need to be woken up. It's Friday, you guys should be more excited even though it looks like garbage outside. It's gonna be warm this weekend. Kennedy? Kennedy? How do I keep going? I wanna cancel off that squared symbol next. How would I cancel off the squared symbol? Good. Okay, and then this should be the first problem we run into where there's an issue. Kennedy, what's the issue? If you're not sure, that's fine. That is not correct, SK. Ah, that is also not correct. I think I know what you meant, though. Yeah, so I think what SK was trying to say when he was saying there's no square root is the answer isn't a perfect nice number. So the answer would be a decimal. And absolutely half of these are gonna work out that way. Do you guys know the perfect square numbers probably? Like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36? Hmm? Yeah, I'm not expecting you to list them off either, right. I was gonna put them up on the wall of the board, but we have ACT Day and MCA Day on the 22nd, so they make us rip everything off our walls that is math related. It's awesome. Okay, did anybody type this in their calculator yet? I wanna say it's like 5.4 or something. No, 5.6? 5 that's a lot of numbers. 5.65? 5, we'll just go with 5.66. Round the numbers, fine, okay. Now, Addie, oh shoot, I gotta move one of you two. We can't have two Addies right next to each other. should we make you rock, paper, scissors, which Addie we're talking to? Okay, you both gave zero reaction, all right, it's fun. Addie, why is that answer not correct? Why would I mark it slightly wrong? Nope, decimal's okay. Half of them are gonna be decimals. But, I mean, it's not a bad guess. Plus or minus. I guarantee you, it's gonna be super easy to forget that on all these problems. It's annoying. And, there's very few problems that you need plus or minus on. These are the ones, so. Do you guys see a different question on this page that looks difficult we should do together? You guys have a lot of opinions, I appreciate that. Okay, let's go to the next page. Nope. Is this the one? Nope, here we go. Sure. Next page down at the bottom. Charlie, you were yawning, you were stretching, this is a perfect opportunity. Well, now these look slightly different. But we're still gonna be able to solve these by just doing the opposite along the way. What would you do? Multiple correct answers go first. I shouldn't say multiple correct answers, some are harder than others. There's one easy thing we can do right away.
Add up 5.
Good. Add 5 to both sides, cancel that out. So my guess is you guys instinctively know to kind of work backwards. If the x is inside the parentheses, I get rid of everything outside the parentheses and work my way in. So I would get rid of the -5. What's gonna be the next thing we get rid of if we're working from outside in? So what's the next thing outside of the parentheses to get rid of? Square root, or the squared, yep. Then we would get rid of the -1 last. You work from the outside in. Okay, so I've got x minus 1 squared equals 9, then I do square root to cancel off the square. Charlie, choose somebody smart that's gonna give me the correct answer without forgetting the things. Aiden. Charlie pointed at you. I'll pretend. What do I write on the other side? What's the square root of 9?
3.
Okay, so what should I write on the right-hand side?
Plus or minus.
Nice. Good. Okay. Anybody feel like they know how to finish the answer to this? I'm not talking about the +1. Anybody feel like they know how to finish the answers? How do I do plus or minus +1? Anybody have any thoughts or guesses? I don't care if you're wrong. Just even a guess. Do we feel like we know one answer? Which is the one answer we feel like we know? 4? It's kind of what I figured. So here's how I do it. You can do it however you want. There is going to be 2 separate answers. It's just when you get the plus and minus, it's weird. So what I usually do is I usually write them separately. I usually write +3 + 1, and then I write -3 + 1. And then that's how I get the 2 separate answers in my head. I do them separately. So 4 is absolutely correct. -3 + 1 would be -2. And it feels weird to get the answers that are apart, but that's how it works. Yes?
How would we write that as an answer? Just that, or do we write x equals 4?
You can say, you mean like the actual words and things?
Like x equals 4, correct, like.
You can say 4 or -2, you can say 4 and -2, you can say 4, -2. You just don't want to put it in parentheses like a point. All of those are totally fine. Everybody seems to have their own way of writing 2 separate answers, and that's fine. I'm not gonna mark you wrong for something like that. I'm getting the feeling I've hit your guys' limit for today. Is that pretty fair? Alright, I can live with that. The homework is definitely not due today. I wasn't expecting it to be done today. If you do, that's fine. I did not wanna get yelled at for printing 150 things for the third day in a row. So I put the PDF in Schoology, which I know is annoying, and I apologize. I can't stand using Schoology, you know, probably any more than you like using it. But I just didn't want to print again because I was getting some scolding looks. I've had to reset my printer amount twice this year already. So I'm about to get yelled at. So I'm gonna try to cut down what I can. I am totally okay if you guys would like to write this. Don't worry, nobody heard it. If you guys would like to write this on paper, go ahead. You don't have to write, I mean, like, you can just write 1, 2, 3 on the paper. If you wanna write this in Kami, sure, that's fine too. I don't care how you wanna write it. Everybody has their own preferences. I do have, actually, I'll get more paper out of the cabinet. I have paper you can grab if you need paper, since we don't usually use paper. But this page, not due today. I would just stick to the top half for right now. Oh, shoot. I take that back. Stick to the bottom half. I wanna talk about the top half, Monday. So, I would focus on 11 through 19. Those are basically what we did today. And the reason I'm saying that is because the answer is either gonna be perfect or, oh, they threw in 1/9. That's annoying. The answer is either perfect or a decimal. Oh, looks like they're all decimals. Oh, do they only have perfect ones on the top? Yes. Okay. Well, the bottom half, the 11 through 22, this is where your answers will be. I don't care if you're gonna choose the letter and do the joke. I just want you to work and focus on 11 through 19. And I'll gladly help you if you want some help on it. Was there anybody in this class that I needed to check Khan Academy for? Yep. Because I checked yours the other day and it wasn't any different, so I'm hoping it'll go in now. Charlie, was that you raising your hand for Khan Academy? Okay. No problem.